Hello there, and welcome to 100 Facts Before Sleep. Tonight, we drift into the ancient and extraordinary world of mushrooms, the deep, hidden network of our planet, written in spores and mycelium. Long before the first flowers bloomed or trees reached for the sky, the fungi kingdom was already alive, silently reshaping the world. They built the soils, partnered with roots, and connected the forest in a vast, intelligent web. The fruiting bodies we call mushrooms are just a fleeting glimpse of this hidden world. The quiet, living network beneath you is ancient beyond imagination. And yet, it is still moving, still communicating, still fruiting. This is the story of the mushroom. A story of connection and decay, of hidden networks and sudden blooms, of a beauty that emerges from darkness. Within every mushroom cap, within every spore, there are whispers of ancient forests, symbiotic partnerships, and the quiet, persistent magic of decomposition and renewal. If you enjoy these quiet journeys, I invite you to like, subscribe, or share a thought below. It helps others find their way here, too, one sleepy soul at a time. For now, just breathe. Let your eyes grow heavy, and let this ancient, hidden kingdom cradle your thoughts. Let's begin. The mushroom is not the organism itself. It is merely the fruit of a vast, hidden network called mycelium, a fleeting structure designed for one profound purpose: to spread the spores that carry the potential for new life. This hidden network, this mycelium, is the true body of the fungus. It is a world beneath our world, a silent, sprawling consciousness woven from countless delicate threads. Imagine a network of threads, finer than silk, finer even than a spider's web, stretching through the soil, creeping through the heartwood of a fallen log, or fanning out in a soft, white blanket beneath the damp carpet of leaves. Each individual thread is called a hypha. It is a simple, microscopic tube, a single cell wide, yet it is the building block of an immense and complex life form. These hyphae are the fungus's way of touching its world. They are its senses, its limbs, and its stomach, all in one. They grow from their very tips, pushing forward with a gentle, relentless pressure, exploring the darkness. They are seeking, always seeking. They search for water, for minerals, and for the complex molecules of life, the cellulose and lignin of a fallen tree, the body of a microscopic insect, the simple sugars offered by a living root. When one hypha finds a source of food, it does not hoard it. It communicates. A chemical signal, a subtle pulse of information, travels back through the network, and the organism responds. More hyphae are sent, branching and weaving toward the prize, creating an intricate web of life. This network is a decentralized intelligence. It has no brain, no central nervous system, and yet it solves problems. It navigates mazes, it anticipates changes, it allocates resources with an efficiency that rivals any human supply chain. It is a living, breathing map of its own environment. The scale of this network is almost impossible to comprehend. In just a few cubic inches of rich forest soil, beneath your feet, there can be miles upon miles of these mycelial threads. Some have said that if you could trace every single hyphal thread in a single ancient forest, it would stretch across galaxies. It is a hidden ocean of life, a biological fabric that holds the earth together. And some of these networks are not just vast, they are ancient. In the Mulhern National Forest in Oregon, there is a single organism, a specimen of Armillaria ostoi, or the honey mushroom, that is considered the largest known living thing on our planet. It covers nearly 4 square miles. Its white, searching threads have woven themselves through the forest floor for thousands of years. Scientists estimate it could be 8,000 years old, or even older. A single, unified being, slowly and quietly expanding, living, and breathing beneath the trees. Its fleeting mushrooms, the honey-colored clusters we see, are just the briefest, seasonal expression of a life that began before the first pyramids were built. It doesn't move like an animal, in a hurry. It expands like a silent, slow-motion galaxy, a testament to the patient, persistent power of the fungal kingdom. This kingdom is ancient beyond our reckoning. The fungi were here long before us, long before the dinosaurs, long before the first trees stretched their leaves to the sun. They were the true pioneers of land. Over 1 billion years ago, when the continents were bare rock and the only life was in the sea, the fungi made the journey. They were among the very first complex life forms to leave the water, to face the harsh, dry, irradiated world. They did not do it alone. They partnered with algae, creating the first lichens, a perfect symbiosis that allowed both to survive. The fungus provided a home, a shield from the sun, and the ability to mine minerals from the rock itself, and the algae, in return, provided food through photosynthesis. Together, they began the slow, patient work of creating soil. They were the first farmers of Earth. And for a time, they ruled. Before the great forests of the Carboniferous, there was a stranger, quieter world. Imagine a landscape, 400 million years ago, dominated not by trees, but by mysterious, column-like spires reaching 20 feet into the sky. These were the proto-taxites. For decades, scientists puzzled over these ancient fossils, wondering if they were strange, forgotten trees or giant columns of algae. But now, the evidence is clear. They were fungi. A forest of colossal mushrooms, their true nature and purpose still shrouded in mystery. They were the silent, towering giants of a world we can barely imagine, a reminder that the fungal kingdom has held dominion over this planet in ways we are only just beginning to understand. This ancient, sprawling network has a profound purpose that continues today. It is the planet's great decomposer. It is the engine of renewal. Without fungi, the world would be buried in its own past. Every leaf that fell, every tree that toppled, every creature that died, would simply stay. The planet would become a sterile museum, locked in an endless state of preservation. But the fungi are the great unlockers. They are the alchemists of the forest. The hyphae, these delicate, searching threads, are armed with a powerful arsenal of enzymes. A fungus does not have a mouth. It has no stomach in the way we do. Instead, it digests its world externally. As the mycelium grows over a fallen branch, it secretes these enzymes, these potent chemical keys, which delicately and precisely disassemble the toughest materials in nature. They break down the complex, rigid structures of lignin and cellulose, the very things that give wood its strength, and turn them back into simple, usable components. The fungus absorbs what it needs to grow, to live, to build its vast, hidden city of threads. And in doing so, it releases the rest. It liberates the carbon, the nitrogen, the phosphorus, all the essential building blocks of life, back into the soil, making them available for the next generation. The seeds of new trees, the roots of wildflowers, the tiny insects, and the bacteria all depend on this fungal gift. This process, this quiet, slow-motion act of decomposition, is what built the rich, dark, fertile soils that cloak our planet. It is an act of creation that has spanned eons, a slow, patient breath of life and death and life again. This network is not just in the Earth. In many ways, it is the Earth's living memory. It is its digestive system, its circulatory system, and its nervous system, all woven into one. It is the quiet, conscious web that underpins the entire forest, and its story is one of not just breaking down, but of building up, of connecting, and of holding the world together in a silent, delicate, and immensely powerful embrace. This vast, subterranean network does not live in isolation. It is defined by its connections. The fungal kingdom is the great integrator of the natural world, a living bridge between the dead and the living, and between the living and the living. While we often think of fungi as the great recyclers of the dead, their most profound and magical role is as the partners of the living. This is the story of mycorrhiza, the symbiotic dance between fungus and plant that is the foundation of nearly every terrestrial ecosystem on Earth. The word itself, mycorrhiza, means fungus root, and it is a perfect description of a relationship that is ancient, beautiful, and essential. More than 90% of all plant species, from the tiniest orchid to the most colossal redwood, depend on these fungal partnerships to survive. They are not an exception, they are the rule. Imagine the roots of a young seedling pushing down into the soil. They are small and fragile, with a limited reach. But they are not alone. Waiting in the earth are the hyphae of a mycorrhizal fungus, the searching threads of the mycelial web. They sense the presence of the root, perhaps by the subtle chemicals it releases, and they grow toward it. What happens next is a gentle and miraculous merging. The fungal hyphae do not attack the root, they embrace it. In some types of relationships, they form a dense, protective sheath around the root's delicate tip, a soft, fungal glove. In other types, the hyphae penetrate the root itself, growing between the root cells, creating an incredibly intricate interface, a place where two different kingdoms of life become one. This partnership is a perfect trade. The plant, with its green leaves held to the sky, performs the miracle of photosynthesis. It captures the energy of the sun and transforms it into sugar, the simple, potent fuel of life. But it struggles to gather what it needs from the earth. Its roots are clumsy and thick, unable to probe the tiniest pored spaces in the soil. The fungus, on the other hand, is a master of the underworld. Its mycelial network is a vast, fine, and incredibly efficient mining operation. Its microscopic hyphae can penetrate where no root can go, unlocking pathways to water and, more importantly, to crucial minerals like phosphorus and nitrogen, which are often locked up in the soil in forms that plants cannot access. The fungus, with its unique enzymatic chemistry, can dissolve these minerals, absorb them, and transport them through its network. And so the trade begins. The fungus channels a steady flow of water and life-giving minerals to the root, extending the plant's reach 100-fold, 1,000-fold. The mycelial network becomes an extension of the plant's own root system, a vast, distributed network that taps the resources of the entire forest. In return, the plant shunts a significant portion of its precious sugars, its solar-powered energy, down through its roots and feeds them directly to its fungal partner. It is a vital and generous exchange. Some trees will send as much as 20 or 30% of all the sugar they produce to their fungal symbionts. It is a price they pay gladly, for without this partnership, they would be starved, stunted, and thirsty. This relationship is not just a simple, two-way trade. It is the foundation of a forest-wide economy. The mycelial networks of different fungi connect different trees, creating a vast, complex, and resilient web. A single ancient mother tree in a forest might be connected to hundreds of other trees, both of its own kind and of different species, through this shared fungal network. This network, often called the Wood Wide Web, is a living, biological internet that allows the entire forest to communicate and share resources. It is a system of profound cooperation. Through these hidden channels, the larger, sun-drenched trees can send surplus sugars to younger seedlings struggling in the shade, giving them the energy they need to establish themselves. It is a form of communal care, a forest acting as a single, interconnected superorganism. The network can also transmit information. When one tree is attacked by insects, it can release chemical distress signals, not just into the air, but also into the mycelial network. These signals travel through the hyphae and are received by neighboring trees, which then begin to mount their own defenses before the insects even arrive, raising the bitter, defensive compounds in their leaves. The fungus acts as a silent alarm system, a conduit for the forest's own awareness. This network can also be a place of conflict and competition. Some plants, like the strange and beautiful ghost pipe, have learned to cheat the system. The ghost pipe has no chlorophyll. It cannot create its own food. Instead, it taps into the mycorrhizal network, stealing the sugars that are being passed between the trees and their fungal partners, a pale, silent thief of the forest floor. The fungi themselves are not passive conduits. They are active players in this economy. They can hoard resources, they can favor one tree over another, they can reward cooperation and punish selfishness. This hidden web is a dynamic, living marketplace, a place of trade, of collaboration, of communication, and sometimes, of betrayal. It is a world of immense complexity, happening every moment, silently, beneath our feet. When you walk through a quiet forest, you are not walking through a collection of individual, competing trees. You are walking on top of a single, integrated, and intelligent system, a vast social network where the fungal kingdom is the living medium, the quiet, conscious thread that binds the entire community together, ensuring its health, its resilience, and its enduring, interconnected life. The vast, intelligent network of mycelium, this subterranean mind, can live for centuries, patiently weaving itself through the earth, gathering, connecting, and waiting. For most of its life, it is invisible to us, a secret kingdom beneath our feet. But when the time is right, when the conditions align, after a cool, soaking rain, when the humidity is high and the air is still, the network decides to reveal itself. It performs an act of transformation, a sudden and magical emergence. This is the birth of the mushroom. The mushroom is not the organism, it is the fruit. It is the apple on a tree that is miles wide. It is a fleeting, ephemeral structure, built for one purpose and one purpose only: to continue the story, to spread the genetic code of this ancient network far and wide. It is an act of reproduction, a brief and beautiful bloom before it dissolves back into the earth. The creation of a mushroom is a marvel of biological engineering. Deep in the soil, the mycelium begins to gather its energy. It draws upon the sugars it has received from its tree partners, the nutrients it has unlocked from a fallen log, and it begins to concentrate this life force into a tiny, dense knot of hyphae. This knot, no bigger than a pinhead, is called a primordium. It is a mushroom in miniature, a compressed blueprint containing all the potential of the final form. This tiny pinhead pushes upward, driven by an incredible and persistent hydraulic pressure. The fungus pumps water into its cells, causing them to swell and elongate with a force strong enough to break through asphalt, to lift paving stones, to emerge silently from the compacted forest floor in a single night. What we see as a mushroom is a structure of almost perfect design. It is a tower and a canopy, an architectural solution to a biological problem. The stem, or the stipe, is a column of tightly bundled hyphae, a pillar designed to lift the precious cargo up from the damp, still air of the forest floor into the moving currents above. Atop this stem sits the cap, or the pileus. This is the protective umbrella, a shield that keeps the delicate machinery beneath it safe from the drying sun and the direct force of the rain. It is beneath this cap, in the cool, protected darkness, that the true miracle lies. If you were to turn a common mushroom over, you would see a series of delicate, paper-thin blades radiating from the center. These are the gills. In other mushrooms, you might find a soft, spongy surface full of tiny holes, called pores. Or in the most fantastical, you might find a cascade of delicate, icicle-like teeth. All these structures, gills, pores, and teeth, are inventions of the fungus to solve a single problem: surface area. Each gill, each pore, is a tiny, fertile valley, and its sole purpose is to create as much space as possible for the production of spores. The surface of these gills is lined with millions upon millions of microscopic, club-like cells called basidia. And it is here, on these tiny cellular launching pads, that the spores are born. A spore is a single, microscopic cell. It is a seed, a genetic time capsule, a tiny vessel of hope. It contains the complete genetic blueprint of the fungus, wrapped in a tough, protective coat, ready to begin the journey. The sheer number of these spores is staggering, a testament to the quiet, overwhelming fecundity of the fungus. A single, medium-sized field mushroom can produce over 1 billion spores in a day. A giant puffball, which is essentially a simple, spore-filled sac, can release trillions of spores in a single, dusty explosion. The entire organism, the vast mycelial network below, has concentrated its life's work into this single, explosive act of creation. But creating the spores is only half the problem. The fungus must now spread them. It must send its children into the world, and it has evolved the most ingenious and beautiful methods to do so. The most common method is the wind. The classic mushroom shape, the umbrella on a stem, is a perfectly evolved aerodynamic structure. The gills are spaced with mathematical precision to allow air to flow between them, but just slowly enough that as the spores are released, they are gently carried out and away by the faintest breeze. The mushroom is a living weather station, sensing the humidity and air pressure, and it will often release its spores only when the conditions for travel are just right. But not all fungi trust the wind alone. Some have evolved a more ethereal, magical solution: they glow. This is the phenomenon of bioluminescence, the foxfire or ghost fire that has inspired countless myths and legends. Imagine walking through a dark forest and seeing a soft, greenish-blue light emanating from a fallen log. This light is not a spirit, it is the mycelium of a fungus, or the mushroom itself, glowing from within. It is a cold, chemical light, a silent lantern. For a long time, the purpose of this glow was a mystery. But now, we believe it is a brilliant evolutionary strategy. The light, glowing in the darkest part of the night, attracts nocturnal insects, like beetles and flies. These insects, drawn to the strange light, crawl over the mushroom's gills, becoming covered in the sticky spores. They then fly off into the night, carrying the fungus's genetic legacy to new, distant logs, becoming the unwitting couriers for a silent, glowing kingdom. Other fungi use the power of the rain. The curious and beautiful bird's nest fungus creates a tiny, cup-like structure filled with what look like miniature eggs. These eggs are actually packets of spores. The fungus waits patiently for a single, perfect raindrop to fall directly into its cup. The shape of the cup is a perfect parabolic splash projector. The force of the raindrop's impact ejects the spore packets with incredible speed, launching them several feet away, a tiny, rain-powered cannon. And then there are the truffles. Truffles are a different kind of fungus entirely. They have foregone the air and chosen the earth. Their spores are not produced on the outside, but are held deep within their dense, warty flesh. They cannot be spread by the wind. They must be eaten. To solve this, the truffle has evolved the most alluring and complex aromas in the natural world. It produces a scent that is irresistible to certain animals, like wild boars and squirrels. This scent, a deep, musky perfume of the earth, is a signal, an advertisement that says, "I am here. I am delicious. Come find me." The animal, guided by this intoxicating smell, uses its claws and snout to dig the truffle from the earth. It consumes the rich, nutrient-packed fruit, and in doing so, ingests the spores. The spores are unharmed by the animal's digestive system. They travel safely within their host, and then, days later and miles away, they are deposited back into the earth, perfectly packaged in their own small pile of fertilizer, ready to begin the cycle anew. From the silent, glowing lantern of the foxfly to the explosive, rain-powered splash cup, from the aerodynamic perfection of the gill to the intoxicating perfume of the truffle, the mushroom is a fleeting, brilliant, and infinitely creative solution. It is the network's brief, beautiful expression of its desire to continue. It is a masterpiece of form and function, a structure built of the most delicate threads, yet strong enough to break stone. It is the visible sign of the invisible, a quiet and complex life form that holds the forest together, and then, in a final, graceful act, entrusts its entire future to the wind, the water, and the wild creatures of the earth. This journey of the spore, this cycle of renewal, has been intertwined with our own human story since the very beginning. We, too, are creatures of the forest, and for millennia, we have walked above this hidden network, sensing its quiet presence, and learning its secrets. Our relationship with the fungi is one of deep antiquity, a story of sustenance, of caution, of medicine, and of profound, world-altering mystery. It began, perhaps, in the simplest way, with hunger. We learned, as the boars and squirrels learned, that these sudden blooms from the earth were a gift. The act of foraging for mushrooms is a quiet art, a form of listening. It is a walk through the woods with a different kind of attention. You are not looking at the grand canopy of trees. You are looking at the spaces in between, at the damp roots, the decaying logs, the places where the veil between the worlds is thin. To find a mushroom is to be present. It is to notice the subtle shift in color, the gentle swelling of the leaf litter, the particular scent of damp earth. And to find an edible one, a chanterelle with its golden, ruffled edges, a porcini with its noble, swollen stem, or a morel, that strange, honeycomb creature of the spring, is to receive a direct gift from the mycelial network. It is the forest floor offering up its condensed, earthly essence. These fruits of the fungus are unlike any other food. They are not a plant. They are not an animal. They are a kingdom unto themselves, and they carry a flavor, an umami, that is a taste of the deep earth, a taste of decomposition and rich, fertile soil. For early humans, this was a vital source of nourishment, a protein-rich, mineral-dense food that could be gathered silently, a quiet harvest from the hidden world. But as we foraged, we also observed. We saw the strange and beautiful patterns that the fungi created, the ways they seemed to follow laws of their own. And from this observation, folklore was born. Imagine walking into a forest clearing, a perfect circle of lush, green grass, and finding, at its edge, a perfect ring of mushrooms. A circle so precise it seems drawn by a compass. This is the fairy ring. For our ancestors, this was a place of clear and potent magic. It was a portal, a boundary line, a place where the hidden world, the world of spirits and the fae, touched our own. It was said to be the dance floor of the elves, a place where they would gather under the full moon. To step inside the ring was perilous. You might be trapped, forced to dance until you collapsed, or stolen away to their world forever. It was a place of both wonder and gentle, superstitious fear. The truth, as science now understands it, is no less magical. The fairy ring is not a portal, but a portrait of the organism itself. It is the visible, living edge of a single, underground mycelial network. The network began, perhaps years ago, from a single spore that landed in the center of that clearing. The mycelium grew, expanding outward from that central point at a steady, even rate in all directions, like the slow, silent ripple from a pebble dropped in a pond of earth. As the network expands, it consumes the nutrients in the soil. The older, inner part of the circle, having used up its food, begins to die back, while the vigorous, youthful edge, the hyphal front, continues to push outward, seeking fresh soil. And when the conditions are right, this active, outer edge fruits, sending up its mushrooms, a perfect, visible crown that traces the exact shape of the hidden body beneath. The lush grass inside the ring is a gift from the dying, older mycelium, which has released a final burst of nitrogen, a parting gift of fertility to the earth. The fairy ring is a living, breathing clock, a slow-motion echo of a life that is circular, constant, and quietly expanding, its magic rooted in the simple, elegant geometry of its own growth. But this ancient relationship was not always one of simple sustenance or wonder. It was also one of profound danger. For every generous, edible fungus, the network can produce a silent, deadly trap. This is the story of the poisonous mushroom, a lesson that humanity had to learn through tragic, painful trial and error. The fungal kingdom is a master of chemistry, and it has evolved some of the most complex and lethal toxins on the planet, not out of malice, but as a perfect, evolutionary defense, a chemical warning that says, "I am not to be eaten. My fruit is for the wind, not for you." The most feared and infamous of all belongs to the Amanita family. This is the family that contains the angels and the destroyers. The most notorious is Amanita phalodes, the death capital. It is a mushroom of terrible, tragic subtlety. It does not advertise its danger. It does not have the bright, warning colors of a poison dart frog or the strange, alien form of a fungus that seems to shout its otherworldliness. It is quiet. It is elegant. It is often described as beautiful. Its cap is a gentle, pale greenish olive, and its gills are pure, snow white. It is said to have a pleasant smell and a mild, gentle taste. There is no hint, no bitterness, no acrid warning of the power it holds within. This is its deadly genius. A person can eat it, feel perfectly fine, and go about their day. But inside their body, a silent clock has begun to tick. The toxins it contains, called amatoxins, are among the most lethal molecules known. They are not destroyed by cooking, by drying, or by any preparation. These molecules are insidious. They do not attack the stomach, they attack the very blueprint of life. The amatoxin travels through the bloodstream and seeks out the liver, the body's great filter. There, it finds the enzyme responsible for creating new proteins, the very mechanism that reads our DNA and builds our cells. The toxin is a perfect, tiny key that fits into this enzyme and jams it, bringing the central factory of life to a grinding halt. The liver cells, unable to repair themselves, unable to function, begin to die. For a day, perhaps two, the person may feel nothing, or perhaps just a mild stomach upset. But then, the catastrophic failure begins. The liver dissolves from within. It is a quiet, devastating, and irreversible process. There is no simple antidote. The ancient Romans knew this mushroom well. It is rumored to have been the poison chalice used in more than one imperial assassination, a silent, patient, and perfect weapon. Yet, this same Amanita family gives us another, perhaps the most iconic mushroom of all, Amanita muscaria, the fly agaric. This is the mushroom of storybooks. The bright, scarlet-red cap, flecked with its pure white, warty spots. It is the toadstool of fairy tales, the home of the gnome, the seat of the caterpillar in Wonderland. Unlike the death cap, the fly agaric shouts its presence. Its color is a vibrant, unmistakable warning. And its chemistry is just as strange and complex. It is also toxic, but not in the same lethal, destructive way as its pale cousin. Instead, its toxins are psychoactive. They contain muscimol and ibotenic acid, compounds that can profoundly alter human consciousness, inducing states of euphoria, distortion of size and perception, and vivid, trance-like visions. For millennia, this mushroom was not seen as a poison, but as a sacred plant, a powerful sacrament. Shamans in ancient Siberia, among the peoples of the frozen tundra, would consume the fly agaric in their rituals. They would enter a deep, visionary state, believing they were traveling to the spirit world, flying, or speaking with the spirits of their ancestors. This mushroom was their vehicle, their food of the gods. The rituals surrounding it were complex. The shamans, it is said, would even dress in red and white, mirroring the colors of the sacred mushroom. And the connection to our modern myths is astonishing. Some scholars have proposed a deep, strange link between these ancient Siberian rituals and the origins of our Christmas story. The idea of a shaman, a holy man, traveling to the spirit world, a magical flight, and bringing back gifts of wisdom, the red and white suit, even the reindeer. Reindeer are known to actively seek out and consume the fly agaric themselves, leaping and behaving erratically afterward. Is it possible that our coziest, most beloved winter myth, the story of Santa Claus and his flying reindeer, is a distant, half-remembered echo of an ancient, sacred, and profound relationship between a shaman and a magical, red and white mushroom? It is a tantalizing thought, a hint of how deeply the fungal kingdom is woven into the very fabric of our oldest stories. It shows us that this hidden network has offered us not just food for the body, but also food for the mind, food for the spirit, and a source of wonder, terror, and magic that has shaped our culture for as long as we have told stories in the dark. The fungal kingdom's influence on our world, and on our very lives, extends far beyond the forest floor and the ancient myths. This hidden, chemical powerhouse, which learned to create toxins to defend itself and perfumes to attract its partners, has also, by a wondrous and quiet accident, produced a set of molecules that would change the course of human history. This is the story of fungi as medicine, a silent, microscopic partnership that has saved countless millions of lives. It is a story that begins, as so many great discoveries do, with a simple, fortunate observation. It begins with a forgotten plate in a London laboratory in 1928. The biologist Alexander Fleming, known to be a brilliant but sometimes untidy scientist, had returned from a holiday to find a stack of petri dishes he had left out. These dishes had been streaked with Staphylococcus, a common and sometimes dangerous bacterium. But on one dish, something was different. A tiny, fuzzy, greenish-blue mold, a common contaminant, had started to grow on the plate. And all around this tiny, invading spot of fungus, the bacteria were gone. They were not just inhibited, they were dissolved, their cell walls ruptured, leaving a clear, perfect circle, a zone of inhibition. Many others might have seen this as a ruined experiment and tossed the plate away. But Fleming was a man of deep curiosity. He looked closer. He understood what he was seeing. This mold, a species of penicillium, was waging a silent, chemical war. It was releasing a substance, a molecule of its own creation, that was a potent and deadly weapon against the bacteria it was competing with for food. The fungus was defending its territory. Fleming had discovered penicillin, the world's first true antibiotic. He had stumbled upon an ancient, evolutionary arms race, a battle that fungi and bacteria had been waging in the soil for millions of years, and he had found a way to harness its power. The fungus, in its quest for survival, had perfected a chemical key that could unlock and destroy the very walls of its competitors. And it turned out, this same key worked on the bacteria that plagued humanity. It would take another decade, and the work of other brilliant scientists, Howard Florey and Ernst Chain, to learn how to purify this mold juice and produce it in large quantities. But by the time of the Second World War, this fungal molecule was being hailed as a miracle. It was a medicine that could cure infections that had been a death sentence for all of human history, from a simple scratch to a battlefield wound. A silent gift from a common mold, a byproduct of a microscopic war, had become the dawn of the antibiotic age. This discovery was not a singular event. It was an awakening. It taught us that the fungal kingdom is a vast, undiscovered chemical library. Each species, in its own unique evolutionary journey, has had to develop a complex toolkit of compounds to survive, to compete, to defend itself, and to communicate. And many of these compounds have proven to be profoundly useful to us. The fungi are the masters of immunosuppression. The life-saving drug cyclosporine, which has made organ transplantation possible, was derived from a fungus found in the soil. This molecule, designed by the fungus perhaps to fight off rivals, has the precise ability to gently turn down the human immune system, to prevent it from rejecting a new, life-saving heart or kidney, without shutting it down completely. It is a molecule of exquisite balance, a medical marvel that we did not invent, but merely discovered. And the fungi are still our partners in health today, in ways we rarely consider. The simple, humble baker's yeast, Saccharomyces cerevisiae, is a single-celled fungus. It is the quiet, invisible engine that gives us bread and beer. But it is also a cornerstone of modern medical research. Because its cells, in their basic structure, are remarkably similar to our own, yeast has become a perfect model organism for studying the most fundamental processes of life. We use it to understand genetics, to study how cells divide, and to test new drugs. Its rapid life cycle and simple genome allow us to ask the deepest questions about our own biology, finding answers in the humble life of a single-celled fungus. But the fungal kingdom's chemical prowess is not limited to healing the body. It also holds the power to unlock the mind. This is the story of the psilocybin mushroom, the magic mushroom, a key that has been used by cultures for millennia to access realms of profound spiritual and psychological experience. These mushrooms, unassuming little brown fungi that often grow in fields and forests, contain the compounds psilocybin and psilocin. These molecules are remarkable for their structural similarity to serotonin, one of our own brain's most important neurotransmitters, a molecule that regulates mood, perception, and our very sense of self. When ingested, the fungal molecule fits perfectly into the serotonin receptors in our brain, particularly in the parts that govern our perception and our sense of a unified self. The result is a profound, temporary, and safe dissolution of our ordinary consciousness. The default mode network of the brain, the part that is responsible for our ego, our ruminating thoughts, our sense of a separate self, becomes quiet. And in its place, the brain enters a state of hyperconnectivity. Regions that do not normally speak to each other suddenly light up in a complex, beautiful, and intricate new dialogue. The person may experience a deep sense of connection to nature, a feeling of universal love, or a mystical type experience that they describe as one of the most meaningful moments of their entire lives. Ancient Mesoamerican cultures, like the Aztecs, knew this power well. They called these mushrooms teonanacatl, the flesh of the gods, and they were used by shamans in sacred rituals of healing and divination. For decades, this ancient wisdom was lost to the modern world, dismissed and outlawed. But today, we are in the midst of a renaissance, a rediscovery of this profound fungal medicine. In carefully controlled clinical settings, at leading universities, researchers are finding that a single, guided experience with psilocybin can have remarkable and lasting effects. It is showing incredible promise in helping people who have been locked in the grip of the most intractable mental health conditions. It can help alleviate the crushing weight of end-of-life anxiety for terminal cancer patients, allowing them to find a sense of peace and acceptance. It has been shown to break the rigid, looping thought patterns of severe depression and addiction, in many cases far more effectively than any current treatment. The fungus is not a simple drug. It appears to be a catalyst for a deep psychological reset. It is a medicine that does not just numb the symptoms, but offers a new perspective, a profound experience of connection that can, for many, be the beginning of a true and lasting healing. From the battlefield antibiotics that saved the body to the sacred, mind-opening molecules that are now healing the psyche, the fungal kingdom has been, and continues to be, one of our most powerful, mysterious, and silent allies. While the story of fungi is one of connection and healing, it is also a story of immense and terrifying power. The fungal kingdom is not just a passive recycler or a benevolent partner. It is an active and relentless force of nature, a master of invasion and consumption. When the mycelial network grows, it is single-minded. It seeks food. And to a fungus, food can be anything organic. It can be the heartwood of a fallen tree, but it can also be the living tissue of a plant, an insect, or even, in rare cases, an animal. The fungi are some of the most devastating and successful parasites on our planet, and their strange, beautiful, and sometimes horrifying strategies reveal a side of this kingdom that is utterly alien to our own. This is the world of the cordyceps, the zombie ant fungus, and the silent, creeping death that haunts the insect world. Imagine a small ant, foraging for leaves on the floor of a tropical rainforest. As it moves, it brushes past a microscopic, sticky spore from a fungus of the genus Ophiocordyceps. The spore adheres to the ant's exoskeleton, a tiny, fatal particle. And then, the invasion begins. The spore germinates, not on the forest floor, but on the ant's own body. It secretes an enzyme that softens the tough, armored shell, and a single, microscopic hypha pushes its way through, into the ant's living body. Once inside, the fungus does not immediately kill its host. Instead, it begins a slow, methodical takeover. The mycelium grows, spreading through the ant's circulatory system, replacing its soft tissues, and nourishing itself on the ant's own life force. But it is not just consuming the ant, it is controlling it. The fungus, this decentralized network of threads, begins to produce a complex cocktail of chemicals that it releases directly into the ant's brain. It is a form of neurochemical warfare. The ant's behavior begins to change. It becomes erratic. It stops its normal, social foraging. And then, the fungus issues its final, chilling command. The ant, now a puppet, a vehicle for its fungal master, is driven to leave the safety of its colony on the forest floor. It begins to climb. It climbs up the stem of a plant, fighting every instinct. The fungus is not climbing aimlessly. It is seeking a very specific location. It is searching for a precise altitude, a perfect orientation, and a specific level of humidity that is ideal for what is to come. When the ant reaches this exact, perfect spot, perhaps the underside of a leaf, 25 centimeters above the ground, facing north, the fungus issues its last command. The ant is compelled to bite down onto the leaf's central vein, locking its mandibles in a final, rigid, death grip. And there, it dies. The fungus, having secured its perfect perch, now consumes the last of the ant's body from the inside, anchoring it to the leaf with its own mycelial threads. The ant becomes a mummified husk, a silent, grim statue. And then, the final, beautiful, and terrifying act begins. The fungus, having gathered all the energy of its host, sends a single, delicate, fruiting body bursting from the back of the ant's head. This stalk, this mushroom, grows upward, a vibrant, colored antenna. And from this perch, high above the forest floor, it showers its spores down onto the ant trails below, a deadly rain upon the unsuspecting sisters of its victim, ready to begin the cycle anew. The fungus has not just eaten an ant, it has hijacked its body and its mind, turning it into a perfectly positioned spore dispersal tower. This is not an isolated case. The fungal kingdom is filled with these masters of parasitic control. There are fungi that infect houseflies, compelling them to land on a high windowpane and die with their wings spread, a perfect position for the fungus to fruit and release its spores into the air. There are fungi that infect the larvae of cicadas, growing in their bodies for 17 years underground. And then, when the cicada emerges, the fungus replaces its entire abdomen with a chalky, white mass of spores. The cicada, still alive, flies around, a flying salt shaker of death, spreading the fungal infection to every other cicada it tries to mate with. And this invasive power is not limited to the insect world. Fungi are the single greatest threat to our global food supply. The story of human agriculture is a story of a constant, ongoing war with fungal diseases. The Great Potato Famine in Ireland, which led to the starvation and migration of millions, was caused not by a drought or a war, but by a microscopic, fungus-like organism called Phytophthora infestans, or potato blight. It was a silent, creeping rot that turned entire fields of healthy, green plants into black, decaying sludge in a matter of days. To this day, fungal diseases like wheat rust, a virulent pathogen that rides the winds across continents, threaten to wipe out the staple crops that feed billions of people. These fungi are perfect, fast-evolving engines of consumption. Even we are not immune. Our own bodies are a warm, nutrient-rich environment, and some fungi have learned to see us as a home. Fungal infections in humans, from a simple athlete's foot to more serious, life-threatening internal infections, are a constant medical challenge. This is because fungi are, in evolutionary terms, far more closely related to us than plants are. We are both eukaryotic organisms. Our cells share a similar, complex structure. This makes it incredibly difficult to design a medicine that can kill a fungus without also harming our own cells. A chemical that is toxic to a fungus is often toxic to us, as well. This parasitic, invasive, and sometimes terrifying side of the fungal kingdom is not evil. It is simply life. It is the other side of the coin of decomposition. It is the same relentless, searching, and opportunistic drive of the mycelium, the same brilliant, chemical mastery, applied not to a fallen log, but to a living host. It is a stark and powerful reminder that the fungi were here long before us, and they are masters of survival, of adaptation, and of a silent, creeping, and utterly indifferent power that continues to shape the world in ways we can barely comprehend. The story of the mushroom is a story of the almost invisible. It is a world of microscopic spores, of delicate, searching hyphae, of complex chemical signals. But the fungal kingdom is also a realm of giants. It has produced structures that defy our very definition of what a mushroom should be, and organisms of such staggering size and age that they challenge our concept of an individual life. We have already drifted past the colossal ancient honey mushroom in Oregon, a single organism covering miles of forest, a quiet, hidden empire. But this is just one expression of fungal immensity. The network's ability to create and sustain life, and to build structures of immense scale, is written all across our planet. Consider the humble termite, a tiny insect that is, in itself, a force of nature. In the savannas of Africa and Australia, termites build colossal mounds, towering, castle-like structures of earth that can stand 20 feet tall. They are marvels of natural architecture, air-conditioned, temperature-controlled, and populated by millions. But the termites themselves cannot do what they do alone. They have a hidden partner. They are farmers. Deep within the cool, dark, humid chambers of their mound, the termites cultivate a vast, sprawling fungal garden. They are not eating the wood they gather, they are bringing it back, chewing it into a pulp, and feeding it to their fungus, a species of Termitomyces. The fungus, in its protected, perfectly controlled environment, thrives. It breaks down the tough, indigestible cellulose of the wood, and in return, it produces small, nutrient-rich, protein-packed nodules. These nodules are the termites' true food, their single source of sustenance. This is a perfect, ancient symbiosis. The termites provide the fungus with a home, a constant food supply, and protection from all competitors. The fungus, in turn, acts as the colony's external stomach, transforming a useless resource, dry wood, into a perfect food. The entire termite society, its castes, its complex behaviors, its architectural achievements, is built around the care and feeding of this single, precious, fungal partner. And when the fungus is ready to reproduce, it sends its own colossal fruits into the world. After rain, giant, pale mushrooms, some with caps 3 feet wide, emerge from the base of the termite mound. This mushroom, the largest edible mushroom in the world, is the fleeting, magnificent expression of the vast, hidden garden that powers an entire civilization of insects. This power to build and sustain is not just for others. The fungus builds for itself. The fruiting bodies we see are often delicate and ephemeral, dissolving in a matter of days. But some fungi have learned to build for eternity. These are the parleypores, the shelf fungi or bracket fungi that you see growing like woody balconies from the side of a living or dead tree. These are not soft, fleshy mushrooms. They are tough, woody, and incredibly durable. They are the perennial fruits of the fungal kingdom. Each year, the fungus does not die back and start anew. It simply adds a new layer of growth to its existing fruit. A new layer of pores is formed beneath the old one, and the bracket grows thicker and wider. Some of these brackets have been observed growing for decades, becoming enormous, shelf-like structures, and all the while, they are patiently, relentlessly, digesting the heartwood of the tree they are attached to. One of the most remarkable of these is the Formitiporia ellipsoidea, discovered in China. In 2010, researchers found a single, continuous fruiting body of this fungus growing on a fallen log. It was over 35 feet long, nearly 3 feet wide, and weighed over half a ton. It was a single, living, spore-producing structure, a colossal, woody river of fungus, the largest single fungal fruit ever recorded. It is a testament to the fact that when given time and a vast source of food, the mycelial network can create structures of a size and permanence that rival those of any other kingdom. And perhaps the most mysterious giant of all is the one we have already met, the ghost of the ancient world, proto-taxites. For millions of years, this was the largest living thing on land. Imagine a world, 400 million years ago, devoid of trees, devoid of flowers, devoid of the complex animals we know. Imagine a landscape of low, scrubby, moss-like plants, and then, rising from this low, green carpet, were these colossal, silent pillars. They were 20, perhaps 30 feet tall, 3 feet thick, and they dotted the landscape of the ancient continents. For over a century, their fossils baffled us. They were so strange, so alien, that scientists could not place them. They were a riddle, a forgotten branch of life. But the microscopic evidence, preserved in the fossilized stone, finally gave up the secret. These towering, tree-like structures were woven from the familiar, delicate threads of hyphae. They were not plants. They were fungi. They were colossal, ancient mushrooms, or perhaps some other fungal structure we do not yet have a name for. Their true purpose is a profound mystery. What was their role in this ancient ecosystem? Were they simply giant, spore-dispersing towers? Were they the fruiting bodies of an even more colossal underground network? Or were they something else entirely, a life form with a function we cannot yet guess? We may never know. But their silent, fossilized presence is a humbling reminder of the fungal kingdom's deep and alien past. It is a sign that this kingdom of hidden networks and quiet decomposers was once a kingdom of giants, a ruler of the ancient world, and that the story of life on this planet is stranger, and more fungal, than we could ever possibly imagine. The mushroom, the fairy ring, the giant bracket, and the ghost pillar of prototaxites are all just different expressions of the same, simple, underlying form. The thread, the hypha, the humble, searching, and infinitely patient strand of life that, when woven together, can build empires. This colossal, ancient, and often hidden kingdom is not just a collection of passive threads, soaking up nutrients. It is a world of profound and quiet intelligence. It is a form of consciousness, so vast, so slow, and so utterly alien to our own, that we are only just beginning to learn how to perceive it. The fungal network is a mind, a decentralized, subterranean brain that is constantly sensing, learning, and responding to its world. It has no head, no central nervous system, no single point of command. And yet, it thinks. Its thought is the very process of its growth. Its intelligence is the elegant, intricate, and ever-changing architecture of its own body. Imagine the mycelial web as a single, vast, hypersensitive skin pressed against the earth. Each of its billions of microscopic hyphal tips is a sensor. It is a nose, a tongue, and a touch receptor all in one. As it pushes its way through the microscopic darkness of the soil, it is tasting the world. It is sensing the faintest chemical gradients, the subtle shift in moisture, the precise signature of a nitrogen molecule, the faint, acidic trace of a rival fungus. It can sense the presence of a tiny, buried seed, the chemical call of a living root, or the complex, woody scent of a fallen log. It is a living, breathing, sensory organ, a million-fingered hand that is, at all times, feeling the pulse of the forest. This sensory information is not just passively received, it is processed. The network makes decisions. When a single, exploring hypha finds a rich patch of food, a pocket of decaying leaves, it sends a signal back. This signal is not a thought, in our sense. It is a chemical message, or perhaps, as some new research suggests, a slow, rhythmic, electrical pulse that travels through the network, a signal that is remarkably similar to the firing of our own neurons. It is a message that says, here, there is abundance here. And the network, this collective mind, responds. It does not grow randomly. It reallocates its resources. It will stop sending its precious energy and matter to the barren, fruitless pathways, and it will divert that growth, that life force, to the new, promising discovery. The hyphae in that area will begin to branch, to divide, to weave themselves into a dense, efficient mat, a perfect, external stomach to digest this newfound prize. This is not just a simple reflex, it is a complex calculation of cost and benefit, a quiet, biological optimization. Scientists have demonstrated this in the most elegant and simple ways. They have placed a fungal network in a laboratory-grown maze, a miniature labyrinth, with a piece of wood, its food, at the very center. The mycelium does not just grow everywhere. It explores. It sends its threads down every corridor. And when one thread finds the food, the signals travel back. The fungus then, slowly and deliberately, strengthens the connection along the single, shortest, most efficient path from its body to the food. And even more astonishingly, it will begin to retract the threads from all the other, useless, dead-end corridors. It is pruning its own mind. It is forgetting the pathways that led to nothing, and it is remembering, by reinforcing, the path that led to success. The very structure of the network becomes a physical memory, a living map of its own history, a blueprint of its world and the solutions it has found. This memory is not just about pathways. It is about experience. A fungal network can learn. If it encounters a patch of soil contaminated with a toxin, it will recoil. But it will also remember. It will encode this information, this negative experience, and it will know to avoid that chemical signature in the future. It can even pass this information along. If a different part of the same network, yards away, encounters a similar toxin, it may respond more quickly, already warned by the experience of its distant sibling self. This is a form of learning, a form of intelligence, that is distributed, collective, and incredibly resilient. And in recent, wondrous years, we have begun to wonder if this communication is even more complex than we imagined. The idea of the slow, electrical pulses traveling through the hyphae, these neuron-like signals, has led to a fascinating and beautiful hypothesis. Scientists, by placing tiny electrodes into the mycelial network, have recorded these signals. They are not random noise. They appear to be structured. They found that the fungus sends out complex trains of these electrical spikes, patterns that vary in their frequency, their amplitude, and their duration. Some researchers, in a moment of profound, imaginative science, have even begun to analyze these patterns using the same mathematical models we use to analyze human language. What they found is breathtaking. The patterns of these fungal pulses, they suggest, have a vocabulary. They seem to have a structure, a syntax, a complexity that is akin to the words in a simple sentence. They have identified, perhaps, 50 or 60 different words in the fungal lexicon, different patterns of pulses that seem to correlate with different events, the finding of food, an injury to the network, the presence of a partner. It is, of course, a hypothesis, a beautiful speculation. But it invites us to wonder, are they talking? Is this a slow, electrical, internal monologue? Is the network humming to itself, a quiet, million-year-old song of its own existence? Are we, in our forests, walking over slow, deep, and constant conversation, a silent, electrical language that we are only just now, for the first time, beginning to overhear? This intelligence, this quiet, conscious web, is not just for the fungus itself. It is the intelligence of the entire forest. The fungus is the broker, the switchboard, the living, conscious medium that connects all things. It is not just a passive set of pipes that trees can use to send resources. The fungus is an active, decision-making participant in this forest-wide economy. It can sense which of its tree partners is in need. It can sense the young seedling, starved of light, and it can decide to channel more of its mind phosphorus to that struggling newcomer. It can also sense selfishness. If one tree begins to hoard its sugars, giving less to the network, the fungus can respond. It can decrease the flow of nutrients to that selfish tree. It can punish. It can reward. It is the living, conscious, and invisible hand that manages the entire marketplace of the woods. This decentralized mind is also the key to the fungus's resilience, its near immortality. Because it has no brain, no central heart, no single, vital organ, it cannot be killed in a single blow. It is a creature of pure, distributed redundancy. You can slice through a mycelial network with a shovel, cutting it into a dozen pieces, but you have not killed it. You have only created a dozen new, individual networks. Each piece, containing the full genetic code and the same distributed intelligence, will simply continue to grow, to explore, and to build its own new web. It is a life form that is, in its very nature, plural. It is a collective. It is a one that is also a many. This is why the honey mushroom in Oregon can live for millennia. It is a life form that has transcended the very idea of a single, fragile, individual body. It is a quiet, sprawling, and patient awareness, a mind woven from the earth itself, a consciousness that has learned to live, and think, and remember, in the slow, eternal, and interconnected darkness. This patient, silent, and distributed mind, this kingdom of threads, has not only shaped our planet's past, it holds within its web the quiet promise of our future. As our own human world grapples with the consequences of its own rapid, industrial growth, the waste we have created, the resources we have depleted, the delicate balances we have broken, we are, in our search for solutions, finding ourselves turning back to this most ancient and wisest of life forms. We are beginning to understand that the fungus, the master decomposer and builder, the supreme chemist of the earth, may be our greatest ally in healing the world and in building a new one. This is the story of mycoremediation and mycofabrication, the fungal future. Imagine a place of profound pollution, a patch of earth saturated with the thick, black, toxic sludge of an industrial oil spill. The soil is dead. It is sterile, acrid, and lifeless. The bacteria, the insects, the plants, all are gone. It is a wound on the earth. Now, imagine bringing the fungus to this place. We introduce the mycelium of a certain species, perhaps the common, vigorous, and endlessly hungry oyster mushroom, Pleurotus austriacos. This fungus is not deterred by the toxins. It sees them as food. To the oyster mushroom, the complex, long-chain hydrocarbons of the petroleum, the very things that are so toxic to us, are simply a different kind of log, a different kind of complex molecule waiting to be unlocked. The mycelium begins to grow. Its white, searching threads creep into the poisoned soil. And then, it releases its enzymes. It begins its work of external digestion. But these are not just the enzymes for breaking down wood. These are some of the most powerful and versatile chemical keys in the natural world. The fungus begins to secrete a cocktail of enzymes that can snip, crack, and disassemble these tough, man-made pollutants. It breaks the long, toxic hydrocarbon chains into smaller, simpler, and harmless components. It is, in essence, digesting the oil spill. It is metabolizing the poison, breaking it down, and transforming it. The fungus takes this toxic waste, this symbol of our industrial excess, and uses it as fuel. It weaves it into its own living body, into the clean, white, healthy flesh of its mycelial network. This process is called mycoremediation. It is the art and science of using fungi to heal the earth. After a few weeks, the patch of toxic sludge is transformed. It is now threaded through with a dense, resilient mat of living mycelium. The acrid smell is gone, replaced by the deep, rich, earthy scent of a living fungus. And soon, the mushrooms themselves begin to fruit, pushing their pale, beautiful, oyster-shaped caps up from the once dead soil. These fruiting bodies, when tested, are found to be completely free of the original toxins. The fungus has not just hidden the poison, it has eaten it. It has destroyed it. And in its place, it has created life. It has created a rich, organic substrate. And now, the insects begin to return, drawn to the mushrooms. The birds follow, coming to feed on the insects. And the seeds, carried on the wind, find a new, rich bed of fungal-treated soil to land in, and they begin to sprout. The fungus has, in a few quiet months, kick-started the entire process of ecological succession. It has been the catalyst, the pioneer, the quiet healer that has brought a dead piece of the world back to life. This is not a future fantasy. This is happening now. Fungi are being used to clean up diesel-contaminated soils, to filter toxic heavy metals like lead and mercury from our waterways, the metals binding harmlessly to the fungal cell walls, and even, in the most astonishing and recent discoveries, to consume our most modern and persistent plague, plastic. Certain fungi, discovered in the Amazon rainforest and in waste dumps, have evolved the unique and shocking ability to digest polyurethane, one of the most common plastics we create. They can live on it, alone, in an environment with no oxygen. It is a profound and humbling glimpse into the sheer adaptive power of this kingdom. The fungi, which have been on this planet for 1 billion years, are already, quietly, evolving to clean up the mess of a species that has been here for just a fraction of that time. But the fungal future is not just about cleaning up our past. It is about building our present. The mycelium, this network of hyphae, is not just a delicate, web-like mind. It is a structural material, a physical, tangible substance with remarkable properties. And we are learning to become its architects. This is the world of mycofabrication. Imagine you have a bag of agricultural waste, sawdust, corn husks, straw. This is the fungus's food. You moisten this food, you sterilize it, and then you inoculate it. You add the spores or a small piece of living mycelium. And then, you place this mixture into a mold. It can be any shape you can imagine, a simple brick, a complex, curved panel, the protective packaging for a new computer. And then, you just wait. In the dark, in the quiet, the fungus begins to grow. The mycelium awakens, and it begins to do what it has always done. It threads its way through the food, consuming it, and as it grows, it weaves itself into a single, unified, intricate, and impossibly dense three-dimensional structure. The hyphae act as a living, natural, self-assembling glue. In a matter of days, the fungus has woven the loose, useless waste into a solid, white, lightweight, and incredibly durable new material. It has grown into the exact shape of the mold you provided. You then give it a final, gentle burst of heat, which stops its growth and renders it inert. What you are left with is a new object. It is 100% organic. It is stronger, pound for pound, than concrete. It is more insulating than fiberglass. It is naturally fire retardant. And when you are done with it, perhaps it was the packaging for that computer, you do not send it to a landfill, where it will sit for 1,000 years. You simply throw it in your garden. And the same fungal kingdom, the same process of decomposition, will quietly and gently disassemble it and turn it back into simple, healthy soil in a matter of weeks. We are building with this. Companies, right now, are growing sustainable, compostable packaging that is replacing styrofoam. They are growing building materials, microbricks that are light, strong, and perfectly insulating. We are learning to build our world not from the finite, toxic, and extractive materials we melt and mold, but from a living, biological process that grows. We are learning to build with life itself. And this new material can be soft. It can be made into fabric. By carefully controlling the growth of the mycelium, by feeding it, by pressing it, by tanning it with natural compounds, we can create a new kind of textile. It is a material that is soft, supple, and strong. It looks and feels astonishingly like animal leather. But it is grown, in a vat, in a matter of weeks, with a tiny fraction of the water, the land, and the energy, and with none of the cruelty of the traditional process. Fashion houses are already beginning to use this mica leather to create bags, shoes, and jackets. It is a quiet, beautiful, and sustainable revolution, a new material born from the same ancient threads that hold the forest floor together. This partnership, this fusion of human ingenuity and ancient fungal wisdom, is a story of hope. It is a story of integration. For so long, our human world has operated in a linear fashion. We take, we make, we use, and we waste. The fungal kingdom has, for 1 billion years, operated in a perfect, elegant circle. It takes, it makes, it uses, it returns, and it renews. And now, we are finally learning to be its apprentice. We are learning to see this hidden network not as something alien or strange, but as a teacher, a partner, and perhaps our salvation. The answers to our most modern, complex problems, our pollution, our waste, our endless consumption, may not lie in a new, human-made invention, but in the quiet, patient, and infinitely intelligent wisdom of the most ancient and most resilient kingdom on our planet. The fungal kingdom is a realm of such vast and quiet patience, a world of such deep, ancient, and practical wisdom, that we, in our hurry, are only just learning to appreciate it. We have seen how it builds our soils, how it connects our forests, how it heals our bodies, and how it may one day even build our homes. But this kingdom is not just a story of utility. It is not just a silent, subterranean workforce. It is also a story of the purely fantastical. It is a gallery of alien art, a museum of biological impossibilities. The fungi are the most creative and whimsical kingdom on Earth, and they have, over 1 billion years of evolution, invented forms of life so strange, so beautiful, and so utterly bizarre that they seem to have drifted here from another world. This is the fungus as a dreamer, an artist, and a magician. Let us return, for a moment, to the deep, moonless forest. You are walking in a place so dark that the canopy above has swallowed all the starlight. The air is damp and still. And then, you see it. It is not a bright light. It is a cold, gentle, and ethereal glow. A soft, greenish-blue luminescence that seems to be breathing from the heart of a fallen, rotting log. This is the foxfire, the ghost fire, the living light of the fungal kingdom. This is not a chemical reaction that creates heat, like our fire. It is a cold, biological light, a chemical miracle that is the twin of the light we see in fireflies, or in the deep ocean's strange creatures. The fungus, using a molecule called luciferin and an enzyme, luciferase, is slowly, patiently, turning its own chemical energy into a silent, spectral lantern. For millennia, this light was a source of profound mystery and superstition. It was seen as the light of lost souls, the glowing footprint of a forest spirit, a magical, and perhaps dangerous, enchantment. People would carry pieces of this glowing wood with them, a cold candle to light their way through the dark path, a talisman against the very spirits they believed it represented. But the purpose of this light, as we now understand it, is a masterstroke of evolutionary genius. The light is an advertisement. In the blackness of the forest night, this glow is an irresistible beacon to the nocturnal world. Tiny, night-roaming insects, like beetles and gnats, are drawn to this mysterious light, just as a moth is drawn to a flame. They land on the glowing wood, and they crawl over the mycelial network, or over the strange, pale, glowing mushrooms of a species like Mycena lucentypes. And as they walk, their legs and bodies become dusted with the fungus's microscopic, sticky spores. They then fly off into the darkness, carrying the fungal seeds with them, becoming the unknowing messengers for a silent, luminous mind. It is a perfect, poetic strategy, an organism that has learned to weave its own light, to build its own stars, and to use the wonder of the nighttime world to carry its story onward. But for every fungus that uses light, there is another that has mastered a different, and perhaps more powerful, sense, the sense of smell. And it does not always choose the path of beauty. Let us imagine, now, a different part of the forest. You are guided not by a light, but by a scent. And it is not the deep, rich perfume of the truffle. It is a foul, shocking, and deeply unsettling odor of decay, of rotting flesh. You follow this scent, wondering what could have died, and you find not a fallen animal, but a mushroom. It is a creature of shocking and alien form. It may be a single, phallic stalk, its tip coated in a dark, greenish-brown, glistening slime. This is a stinkhorn, a member of the Phallaceae family. It is a fungus that has played a truly different evolutionary game. Its life begins as a strange, pale, rubbery egg, a gelatinous globe in the soil. And then, when the time is right, it erupts. It grows with a speed that is almost violent, the stem bursting from the egg and rising to its full height in just a few hours. Some species are among the fastest-growing organisms on Earth, a pale, urgent pillar. But its true genius is the slime, the gleba, that coats its cap. This slime is the fungus's spores, mixed into a thick, sugary, and profoundly stinking matrix. The smell, so repulsive to us, is an irresistible perfume to another creature, the fly. To a carrion fly, this odor is a clear, loud promise of food, of a place to lay its eggs. They swarm to the stinkhorn from all across the forest, landing on the slimy cap and feasting on the sweet, foul-smelling gleba. As they eat, their legs and mouths become coated in the spore-filled slime. And when they fly away, they do what the fungus could not. They carry its spores, not on the random, chaotic currents of the wind, but with the targeted, efficient speed of an insect, depositing them directly onto other rotting logs, other perfect homes, miles away. The fungus has tricked the fly into being its willing and well-fed courier. This same family, the stinkhorns, has produced forms that are even more fantastical. Imagine finding, not a simple stalk, but a bright, scarlet-red, intricate, and cage-like sphere, a lattice of fungus that looks like a piece of coral dropped in the woods. This is the Clathrus ruber, the lattice stinkhorn. It erupts from its egg as a beautiful, hollow, and geometric cage, its inner surface is coated in the same, dark, stinking spore slime. It is a thing of both breathtaking beauty and repulsive scent, a living sculpture. Or perhaps you find the anemone stinkhorn, a stalk that erupts into a series of bright, fleshy, tentacle-like arms, like a small, red octopus reaching from the earth, its arms all dripping with the dark, spore-laden gleba. These are not creatures of quiet patience. They are loud. They are vibrant. They are masters of a bizarre and beautiful mimicry, fungi that have learned to imitate the sights and smells of death in order to create new life. And then there are the fungi of pure, explosive potential. The puffballs. A puffball is a mushroom of the most elegant simplicity. It is an organism that has stripped itself down to its barest essentials. It is a simple, fleshy sac, a fungal balloon, with no cap, no stem, no gills. Its entire interior, the gleba, is a single, vast, and tightly packed factory. As the puffball matures, this entire internal mass transforms into a dry, dusty, and almost unimaginably dense collection of spores. We are not talking billions. We are talking trillions. A single, large, giant puffball may contain 7 trillion spores, a number so vast it exceeds all human comprehension. It is a quiet, powdery, brown bomb of life, waiting for a trigger. It has no mechanism of its own. It is a creature of pure patience. It waits. It waits for a single, heavy raindrop to strike its papery, outer skin. It waits for the footstep of a deer, the curious tap of a bird's beak, or the gentle poke of a child's finger. And when that pressure comes, the puffball responds. The impact compresses the sac, and a cloud, a puff of greenish-brown smoke, erupts from a small pore at the top. This is not smoke. It is a universe of spores, an explosion of potential, a trillion tiny seeds of hope, ejected in a single, silent burst, to be carried away on the wind. It is reproduction as a single, exhalation. And its cousin, the Earth star, has added a final, beautiful flourish to this design. The Earth star begins as a simple puffball, a closed sphere. But as it matures, its tough, outer wall splits, peeling back into a series of pointed petals. These petals, these arms, are hygroscopic. They are a living barometer. When the air is dry, the arms curl inward, protecting the delicate, spore-filled sac at the center, shielding it from a wind that is too dry for spores to travel safely. But when the air is damp, when a gentle rain is falling and the humidity is high, the arms open. They absorb the moisture, swell, and peel back, revealing the central sac, lifting it up from the damp ground, and exposing its pore to the world. It is a flower, made of fungus, that blooms not in the sun, but in the rain, a perfect, living, and mechanical jewel, waiting for the perfect, wet moment to release its children. And we cannot leave this world of the strange without a quiet nod to the creatures that are not truly fungi, but are so often their companions in this realm of the bizarre, the slime molds. These are not fungi, they are not plants, they are not animals. They are something else, a member of the kingdom Protista. And their life is a story in 2 acts. In one stage, they are individual, single-celled amoebas, creeping through the soil, hunting bacteria. But when the time is right, when a chemical signal is sent, these thousands of separate, individual cells crawl together. They merge. They flow into one another, their individual walls dissolving to create a single, massive, multinucleated, supercell. This is the plasmodium. It is a living, creeping, glistening, and often bright golden yellow ooze. It is a liquid mind. It is a single cell, with no brain, no nerves, and no center, that can be a square yard in size. And it hunts. It creeps with a slow, rhythmic pulse across the forest floor, a sheet of living jelly, flowing over and around obstacles, seeking out its food, bacteria, fungal spores, and decaying matter. And this creature, this single-celled ooze, is intelligent. It is the organism that scientists have tested in mazes. A slime mold, placed at the entrance of a labyrinth, with its food at the center, will not just grow randomly. It will spread its body, its liquid self, into all the corridors at once. And when it finds the food, it will, just like the fungal network, strengthen the single, shortest, most efficient path. And it will retract all of its other limbs from the dead-end corridors. It solves the maze. It remembers. It can anticipate patterns. If you present it with food at regular, timed intervals, it will learn the rhythm, and it will begin to move its body to the food source before it even appears, anticipating the pulse of its world. It is a living, liquid, golden yellow intelligence. And when it is ready to reproduce, it transforms completely, morphing from this creeping, alien blob into a series of delicate, beautiful, and often jewel-like fruiting bodies. Tiny, intricate stalks that look like the most fantastical, microscopic mushrooms, releasing their own spores to begin the cycle anew. This forest floor, this world of damp logs and fallen leaves, is not just a place of decay. It is a place of wonder. It is a stage for alien intelligences, for living lights, for perfumed traps, for explosive clouds of life, and for liquid, golden minds. It is a quiet, constant, and endlessly creative carnival of life, hidden just beneath our gaze. This kingdom of silent, living light and perfumed, alien traps, this world of explosive, dusty seeds and creeping, liquid minds, is a realm that seems to defy all our earthly categories. It feels, in its deep and patient strangeness, like a form of life that is not of this world. It seems to follow a different set of rules, to dream a different kind of dream. And for centuries, we, in our attempt to understand it, placed it in a box that was not its own. We saw the mushroom, a thing that grew from the earth, a thing that did not move, and we called it a plant. A strange, pale, flowerless plant, perhaps a member of a lower, forgotten order, but a plant nonetheless. This was the great, fundamental misunderstanding. And the truth, revealed not by our eyes, but by the deep, microscopic, and ancient script of our own DNA, is a story that is far more wondrous and far more intimate. The fungi are not plants. They are not even closely related. The truth, which has shaken the very foundations of biology, is that the fungal kingdom is more closely related to the animal kingdom than it is to the kingdom of plants. Fungi, in their deep, genetic heart, are our cousins. We are, in the grand, branching tree of life, far closer to a common mushroom than a daisy or a pine tree. We share a common ancestor. We are sister kingdoms. We are two branches of the same, ancient, evolutionary story. This vast, silent, and alien world of mycelium is, in a way we are only just beginning to comprehend, a form of us. 1 billion years ago, in the warm, primordial oceans of a younger Earth, there lived a single-celled creature. A simple, microscopic organism, a tiny, nucleated cell. Its great innovation, its gift to the future, was a single, tiny, whip-like tail at its rear. A flagellum. It used this tail to push itself through the water, to seek out food, a tiny, ancient, aquatic hunter. This organism, or one very much like it, was our shared beginning. It was the great-great ancestor of every animal and every fungus on Earth. We are united in a single, vast supergroup of life, a clade that scientists, in a nod to this ancient, shared heritage, have named Epistheconta, the rear flagellated. And the echo of this shared past is still visible today. The most primitive fungal spores, the chytrids that live in water, still swim with this single, tiny, propulsive tail. And the animal kingdom's own, unique, single-tailed cell, the sperm cell, is a living, microscopic reminder of this billion-year-old kinship. From this shared ancestor, two great paths diverged. Two grand solutions to the question of how to live. One path led to us. This was the path of ingestion. The ancestors of the animal kingdom evolved to eat. They learned to hunt, to pursue, to envelop, and to consume their food. And this single choice defined our entire destiny. To ingest food, we had to develop a container. We had to evolve a body, a single, unified, and self-contained vessel. We developed a stomach, a place of internal digestion, a private, acidic ocean. And to find the food to put in that stomach, we had to move. We evolved muscles for locomotion, nerves for sensing, and, eventually, a centralized brain to coordinate it all, to see the world, to predict it, and to catch it. Our entire, complex, internal world, our organs, our bones, our brains, our very consciousness, is the billion-year-old consequence of deciding to put our food inside ourselves. The fungi, our sister kingdom, took the other path. This was the path of absorption. The ancestors of the fungi chose not to contain, but to become. They chose not to move through their world, but to grow into it. They gave up the singular, moving body, and in its place, they evolved the network. They evolved the hypha, the tiny, searching thread. They did not build a stomach on the inside, they became a stomach on the outside. They learned to live in their food, to surround it, to press their delicate, living skin against it, and to secrete their enzymes, their digestive juices, directly into the world. They dissolved their world, and then they quietly, gently, absorbed the unlocked nutrients across their entire, vast, distributed body. This single choice defined their destiny. They did not need muscles. Their growth was their movement. They did not need a single, central brain. Their entire network, their billion-fingered, sensory web, was their brain. They became a living, collective, and decentralized intelligence, a mind woven from the very earth it was consuming. We are the two great solutions. We are the masters of internal, contained, and fast-moving complexity. They are the masters of external, distributed, and patient complexity. We are the sprint, they are the slow, geological breath. We are the individual, they are the collective. We are the thought, they are the quiet, underlying medium. This genetic revelation forces us to look at the fungal kingdom in a new light. When we see a mushroom, we are not looking at a strange, alien plant. We are looking at a life form that stores its energy not as starch, like a plant, but as glycogen, the same energy storage molecule found in our own muscles and livers. We are looking at a life form that cannot make its own food, but must, like us, find it in the world. We are looking at a creature that breathes in oxygen and exhales carbon dioxide, just as we do. We are, in the most fundamental, biochemical sense, looking in a mirror. A strange, slow, and ancient mirror. This shared ancestry forces us to reconsider our most basic concepts, even the idea of what it means to be an individual. We see ourselves, our human form, as a single, unified being. We are one. But the fungus challenges this. Is the great armillaria in Oregon, that 4 square mile, 8,000-year-old network, a single individual? It has no head. It has no heart. It has no center of operations. It is a vast, sprawling, and plural mind. If you cut it in two, you do not have a dead half. You have two, living, independent armillaria networks. Its sense of self is not contained. It is distributed. It is a one that is also a many, a being that exists as a we more than an I. It is a life form that reminds us that our own, cherished, Western idea of the singular, separate self is not a biological absolute. It is just one way of being. The fungus shows us another, a life built on connection, on distribution, on a collective, networked consciousness. And this ancient, resilient, and networked kingdom may hold one final, profound secret. A secret that ties its alien nature to the very stars. The vessel of the fungal story is the spore. A single, microscopic cell, a packet of genetic information, wrapped in one of the toughest, most resilient, and most chemically complex shields in the natural world. This outer coat is a masterpiece of biological armor. It is waterproof. It is pressure-proof. It is laced with melanin, the same pigment in our skin, which acts as a powerful, natural sunscreen, shielding the precious DNA within from the destructive, mutating power of ultraviolet radiation. A fungal spore is a tiny, perfect, and almost indestructible time capsule. They are built for travel. We see them carried on the wind, across oceans, across continents, ensuring that the fungal kingdom is a truly global, planetary organism. But what if their journey is even grander? Spores have been taken outside our own atmosphere. They have been attached to the outside of the International Space Station, exposed to the raw, unfiltered, and lethal environment of space. They have been subjected to the vacuum, to the extreme, freezing cold, and to the full, blistering, cosmic radiation of our sun. And when they were brought back to Earth, they germinated. They woke up. They were, in a way that almost defies belief, alive. This incredible resilience has led some to wonder, in a moment of beautiful, scientific poetry, could this be how life itself travels? This is the hypothesis of panspermia, the idea that life did not begin on this planet, in a warm, primordial soup, but that it arrived here, as a passenger, a refugee from another world. That billions of years ago, an asteroid, blasted from a distant, living planet, carried with it the tiny, dormant seeds of life. And these seeds, these first, microscopic astronauts, were fungal spores. What other life form is so perfectly, so ingeniously, designed for an interstellar journey? A journey of thousands, perhaps millions of abiyahs, dormant, patient, and protected, waiting in the cold, silent darkness of space. Waiting, simply, to land. Waiting for a new, warm, and hospitable world. Waiting for a single, perfect drop of water, to awaken, to germinate, and to begin, once again, the slow, patient, and relentless work of weaving a new, living network. It is a fantastical thought, a story we cannot yet prove, but it brings our journey full circle. We look at the strange, alien, and wondrous forms of the fungal kingdom, and we feel a sense of otherworldliness. And perhaps we are right too. Perhaps, in our deep, intuitive, and most ancient folk memory, we sense the truth. That this kingdom, which is our closest, dearest, and most ancient genetic cousin, is also, just perhaps, the quiet, patient, and resilient traveler that has come to us, and to this world, from the deepest, darkest, and most unimaginable corners of the stars. It is the life that connects us, not just to each other, not just to the Earth, but perhaps, to the entire, living, breathing cosmos. And so, our journey through this silent, hidden kingdom begins to soften, to slow, and to dissolve, much like the delicate gills of a mushroom returning to the Earth. We have drifted through eons, from the first, brave fungi that tasted the bare rock of a new world, to the vast, intelligent networks that wire our forests with a living, conscious web. We have walked in the spectral, green light of the fungi, and we have stood in awe of the colossal, forgotten pillars of proto-taxites. We have seen the mushroom as a source of life-giving food, a key to profound, mystical experience, and a silent, patient, and perfect poison. We have learned that this kingdom is not a strange and distant other, but the giant, sister branch of our own family tree. Our paths diverged 1 billion years ago, one choosing to run and to hunt, the other to weave and to absorb. But we are, in our very cells, born of the same stardust, the same primordial, aquatic ancestor. The fungus is our oldest, strangest, and most silent relative. It is the dark, earthy mirror to our own bright, rapid, and fleeting consciousness. Tonight, we have overheard the whispers of its vast, subterranean mind. We have seen it solve mazes, we have seen it share resources, we have seen it heal the toxic wounds of our modern world, and we have seen it build the materials of our future. And we have wondered, in the deepest, quietest part of the night, if its perfect, resilient spores are not just seeds for this world, but for all worlds, the patient, immortal travelers of the cosmic dark. The story of the mushroom, in the end, is the story of connection. It is the story of the thread that binds the dead to the living, and the living to each other. It is the quiet, biological truth that nothing is ever truly alone, and that nothing is ever truly wasted. The entire forest, the entire planet, is a single, breathing, interconnected system, and the fungal kingdom is its silent, living, and circulatory heart. And now, as these thoughts drift and settle, let your own mind become like that hidden, mycelial web. Let it be vast, and quiet, and at peace. Feel yourself as part of a great, hidden network, connected to the earth beneath you, to the air you are gently breathing, to the quiet, dark room that holds you. There is no need to solve, or to strive, or to hurry. There is only the slow, patient, and healing work of the darkness. Let your own consciousness be like the spore, a single, perfect, and precious thing, letting go of the day, and drifting, gently, on the slow, dark, and silent currents of the night. Let it find a soft, warm place to land, to rest, and to begin, in the hidden, magical, and restorative world of your own dreams, the quiet, wondrous work of renewal. Let the forest floor of your slumber cradle you. Let the ancient, fungal wisdom of the earth hold you. And let yourself, now, dissolve into that perfect, healing, and profound peace. Good night.